Hello everyone, Simon Rojas here, and today I'm going to share a few lessons on a topic that I really have found fascinating and I've been studying over the past few weeks, and that's the power of acknowledgement. And it is so interesting that a simple act such as giving someone a high five or responding to someone's text can have such an emotional impact on the person that is receiving or getting that response or getting that feeling of that they're being connected to you or connected to the team. And I'm gonna show you through a series of videos, a series of scenarios that I really have found interesting and entertaining, how we can all approach this in our everyday lives so that we can better impact and influence those around us and really build a better relationship just by acknowledging somebody. And it is that simple. We can really build better relationships by acknowledging the people around us. And I'm going to show you some ways that you can do that and make that happen. Let's check this first clip out. As we can see in this video, you have this young man sitting in the front row, strength in numbers shirt, and he extends his arm out to get a high five from Steph Curry. As you can see, Steph Curry either ignores him, doesn't see him. We don't really know exactly. But you can see this young man's reaction. I mean, let's really focus on that. And you can see the camera even zooms in on it. He is distraught. I mean, he is looks like his life just turned upside down in this instant. He went from in the front row, who knows, there's an expensive seat, and he's been cheering for his team this whole night, rooting for the team, really feeling like he's been a part of the team, especially, considering the strength in numbers slogan. And he's then ignored by really the best player on that team and arguably in the whole league. And he's not quite sure what to do. Doesn't know really how to react. It just seems like the life has been sucked out of him. Yet, how can this happen? Like the simple act of extending a high five and it not being acknowledged, right? How could it have such an emotional response on him? I mean, let's really dive into that. So that's a pretty fascinating clip, right? And it makes me wonder, like, what are other instances where this occurs? And it really happens all the time. So let's say you get left on red, right? You send someone a message, they see it, and then they don't respond to you for who knows how long. And then you're left wondering, like, how come they didn't respond to my text? They saw it, right? And there could be a million explanations. And then you start questioning yourself and like going into this dark hole, like, do they not like me? Did I say something wrong? Like, what is going on? Like, did I say something to merit to piss them off? Who knows? Like, we make up all these things in our heads, and sometimes it just may just be like they saw it and then they had something to do, and then they'll get back to us in a few hours or the next day, and then who knows? Like, they're just very busy. We don't know, right? But it gives us like this emotional response, this kind of dark feeling that we don't like, and we don't necessarily are great at handling it. And the same case occurs with like the high five. I mean, it's happened to me when I was 12 years old playing soccer, and I gave, my teammate went to go give him a high five, and for whatever reason, I didn't get a high five. And as I walked past them, I saw that like I never got contact. And then there's like this social impact. Like, did other people see that? Like, does that give other people permission to like think less of me because the captain didn't give me a high five or the coach didn't give me a high five? Like, and then like, do they not like me? Like the same scenario. Like, there's so many different ways that this can happen. And if we're all just a little bit aware about when people are seeking acknowledgement, right? Because when I get a high five with somebody, essentially that physical connection is acknowledging, like, yes, we're part of the team, like, you are here, we're here together, like, let's go do this. The same thing when someone responds to a text or a DM or a Slack, right? Like, I'm here for you, what do you need? I'm responsive, right? I'm not ignoring you. Like, you are someone that's there, present. part of the team, part of the community. And so as leaders, as a product owner, like one of the things that I'm always striving for is, finding ways to acknowledge others and being responsive, because I know that there are times, or there are certain folks that, that can go down that dark path, that rabbit hole of they're questioning, like, why am I not getting a response? Why are they not acknowledging the work that I did? So I think it's an important thing to be aware about as leaders on teams, product owners, engineering leads, whatever the case might be, or whatever uh, industry that you work in, or whatever team you're working, that we are aware that our ability to recognize others can have an important impact into how they feel seen and respected and part of the team. And it can be that simple. It's a great building block. And then something to think about is when we look at like that scenario again of the young man extending his hand out to Steph Curry and not getting the handshake, and like that feeling of like I don't exist, like my whole world just turned upside down. Really something to think about is how much power are we giving to other people to allow them allow something like that to elicit such a significant emotional response about how we feel about who we are. And that's something for another time, another conversation, because there are definitely ways that I've learned to just feel great about myself, whether I get a handshake or not, or whether someone really gives me their acknowledgement. Like, how do you work on really not needing that and just being very confident about what you're doing? But that's a conversation for another time. And I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. Please be more aware about acknowledging others. It definitely has a big impact, whether whether you see it or not. It's very subtle, but it's a great way to really build a strong relationship with those around you. All right. Thank you all.